What's going on, family? You live in the lab with Avery Yashua, man. We got to talk about this Diddy verdict. It came back 3-2. Not guilty of racketeering, not guilty of sex trafficking by force, and another not guilty of sex trafficking, man. So this probably was the best outcome for Diddy in this particular trial. I'm sure he's happy. I'm sure his family's happy. His lawyer's ecstatic. And so now where do we go from here? A lot of people was questioning, where would Diddy get jail time? Will he get time served? The two charges that he was found guilty on is transportation for prostitution. They carry a no mandatory minimum. So the judge can be like, hey, you got time served or get on house arrest or whatever. But they have a maximum, I think, in New York of 10 years. So this right here is interesting. But one thing I did learn today, you know me, he had deep pockets, and the feds can be beat, man. Look like the feds can be beat. I know they said they had a 95 or something like that % winning record, but hey, some people with deep pockets can get past them. So now they're asking, what happened with R. Kelly? Why is R. Kelly in jail and Sean Puffy Combs seems like he's walking free? I guess it come down to money. Who knows? I don't know. The lawyers or whatever, but Sean Diddy Combs found not guilty on 3 charges and guilty on 2. So let's get into it. Let's see what CNN said. We're going to be playing 7 news clips live today, trying to figure this thing out, man. And but hey, it is what it is. His peers has spoken.
Seeing about the actual verdict here, and just for the I want to understand, count 1 was the most serious charge, carrying up to a life sentence. He has been found not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, RICO, not guilty. He's also been found not guilty of sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura. She testified for days. We're also learning that he's been found guilty of the transportation to engage in prostitution count involving Cassie Ventura. He has been found not guilty of sex trafficking of Jane, who is the girlfriend that he was dating as well, and guilty of the transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, Elizabeth, this is very, very significant. We had an inkling yesterday when there was a hung jury on the initial RICO charge, the most serious, that there might be an actual acquittal there or a hung jury. The prosecution insisted on having it keep going. The defense wanted it to keep going. And now we know they have a result. It is a not guilty verdict. Talk to me more broadly here, because the Prostitution Acts, people thought it was kind of a low-hanging fruit. He was found guilty of those, but not sex trafficking of Cassie.
This is the best possible outcome for the defense. This is what, of course, they wanted a full acquittal. But if you're not getting a full acquittal, this is what they wanted. Their client is now not facing life in prison. He is facing 2 separate charges that he was convicted on. Serious charges. They each carry a maximum of 10 years. So this isn't nothing that we are talking about. But the most serious charges he has been acquitted on. As Laura said, days of testimony from Cassie Ventura, from Jane, Cassie being on the stand for 4 days, Jane being on the stand for 6 days, these women crying, breaking down on the stand. Well, guess what? The jury did not believe most of their story, or even if they believed most of their story, it did not line up with those charges. So,
and by the way, on that point, let's talk a little bit about that, because there was an inkling for those people who had been in the courtroom, including ourselves, who had been watching the testimony. Remember what they were using as the defense to counter the sex trafficking? It was free will. They were talking about free will, and they were suggesting, while the prosecution said any bait and switch or manipulation to coerce these women by fraud or threat or otherwise to engage in these so-called freak-offs, that force, that cloud of force and threat and violence that had hung over the head of Cassie Ventura was enough to suggest that she never could.
But let's say this. If the power of Diddy, he's a very influential guy, he had a lot of power, he can sway you to do certain things, certain people, you know what I mean? There's maybe weak-minded, weak spirit. He can get you, he can manipulate you to do certain things for thinking you're going to always get there. A lot of wealthy and rich people do that because you, in your mind, you want to get to their level of success or financial gain. So Now, I believe Cassie probably participated in some of that. Maybe, who knows? Allegedly, well, we know she participated, but was it willingly or was it by force? Who knows? But the peers had spoken today and said that they didn't pretty much believe her. And so we're going to move forward with that. And unfortunately, because if she was forced or coerced, it seems like it's just all in vain now. But let's continue.
Developed the free will to say no. And when it came to Jane, the idea of manipulating her to travel to places like New York under the pretenses of quality time and shopping, only to then engage in freak-offs, was enough of manipulation. Well, the defense, was very clear. They kept saying free will. These are grown women making grown-up decisions who have an interest in engaging in this behavior. It seems that the jurors, maybe looking at text messages or testimony, agreed with that sentiment.
Yeah, possibly, man. But like I said, man, that was your daughter. You'd be upset. My thing was with this whole trial was, where was Diddy friends? It seemed like all the A-listers, the rappers, the big entertainments, the big exec, everybody stayed away from this, man. Nobody wanted to be a part of this. So I think a lot of people knowing a lot of stuff. But one thing I do know, this is America, Jack, and money can buy freedom. I'm not saying he paid off everything, but if you got money, you got fame, hey man, money can buy freedom here in America. In a lot of cases, you see R. Kelly went to jail. Even Martha Stewart went to prison for a little while. You know what I mean? She has plenty of money, allegedly. So, but here, man, this is wild. But for his family, I'm sure they're ecstatic, they're elated. Let's see what Fox Live's talking about, man, and go from there. And then I come back and give my commentary on that.
Just in terms of the timeline for him to get out, is it possible he could get out this afternoon? Because we've seen kind of movement here on the block with them shutting down the block, but they brought in a lot of NYPD officers here to handle the crowds and stuff like that, giving us a sense that, okay, this is a lot more than we've seen at any other point in the trial. Do you think that's possible, just yes or no, that he could get out today?
A definite yes.
Yeah, okay, great. All right, Peter Frankel, criminal defense attorney, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
we
you,
really appreciate it. And guys, that's the latest here from outside the federal courthouse. We're going to be here all day. We're going to be monitoring developments as they happen. And the big next development that we're waiting for is Sean Diddy Combs walking out of that courtroom after he makes bail.
So I'm going to ask you a question on that because I don't, some reason the mic ain't picking up on that aspect. But will Sean Puffy Combs get released today? Will the judge allow him
the actual
to be released today? Or will the judge say, hey, I'm going to hold you? Because, of course, they're going to appeal these two charges, these transportation for prostitution. They're going to appeal these. And he beat the major charges of sex trafficking in RICO. He beat those. So he won't be retried on those. So now with these smaller, low-hanging fruit low-hanging fruit charges, he got enough money to beat these. You know what I mean? His pockets are deep. So will the judge allow him to have bond while they appeal these particular two charges? If not, he might have to sit down for about a year to 18 months until his appeal come up. But I'm sure with beating these two charges, he gonna beat those other two charges. He end up probably gonna be walking scot-free with that particular with the money and the legal team he has. So this was a win today for Sean Puffy Combs and his attorneys. I know now my women's group, I'm sure they're upset, especially when you see what happened to Cassie in 2016, how she said she was trying to escape from a freak off or something like that. And Diddy came out. We all seen the video. So this is nothing new. Diddy came out, caught her at the elevator, threw her down, stomped on her, and drug her back to the thing, and then tried to pay the New York, I guess the hotel security or whatever, pay them off to hide the tape. And the tape was hidden for years. It just came out, in 2024. So if that happened in 2016, the tape was hidden up for 8 years in 2024. So how do y'all feel, ladies? Or the ladies upset after they seen that? Because it looked like the New York State never really, they never really proved the RICO. Overall, when you look at this whole setup, they never really proved the RICO, but we did see domestic violence. We did see transportation for prostitution because people was bought in and paid, you know what I mean? So that's transportation for prostitution. But the sex trafficking, they were saying pretty much these women agreed to it, man. And that's whether they agreed to it or not, who knows? I don't know. But their peers didn't truly believe their story. And Mr. Combs seemed like he's not guilty on 3 major charges. So what would be the outcome? Will the judge allow Sean Puffy Combs, Diddy Combs, he don't go by Puffy no more, Sean Diddy Combs, to walk out today on a bond hearing, or deny his bond and let him sit there until the appeal process, which can take anywhere from 12 to 36 months easily, you know what I mean? But I think, my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think Mr. Combs will probably be leaving today, if not today, next week, as soon as the lawyers can get a bail package together, because he was found not guilty on 3 major, he was found not guilty on 3 major charges. And these low-hanging fruit charges is just transportation to prostitution. You know what I mean? He can beat those. He will beat those in the appeal process because they're going to try to drag it out, and he got deep pockets. So with that said, man, I ain't going to hold y'all. Y'all see what's going on with the Diddy trial. Let me know how y'all feel about it. Let's talk about it, what the women think about what they're seeing from this. Can money buy freedom? Can money get women mistreated? Is Diddy above the law at this point? He had been caught up on several different arrested on several different things, but never truly convicted of anything. Back in the day with him and J-Lo and the shooting and Shine, and then putting his hands on people. Is he above the law, or by him not being persecuted? Can Diddy do whatever? Or he the king of New York, you know what I mean? Or king of America, Miami or California, or whatever. People seem like the rich always get away with stuff. I don't know why, but it does seem like the rich get richer, man. And we know if you got the money in America, you can get off, man. You can get off. Not saying he paid anybody, because I don't know, but we do know money talk. We do. And then we seen, you know what I mean, what happened to Mr. R. Kelly. You know what I mean? Allegedly he ran out of money, and the lawyers went away and he went to prison. So with that said, man, I'm Avery Yasharel. Until next time.